Phil has been looking forward to this moment for like a year.
You can throw a match in there and it wouldn't light up.
The foundation is crumbling in. From here, that almost doesn't look like it's caving in. Starting the morning off in our basement because the task that we have decided to tackle today is this. So this is the last remaining section of our basement that still looks like the Wild Wild West. So if you'll remember when we moved into the basement, it was bad. We have come so far. I can now walk around in it. It is now well lit, albeit by two very different temperature light bulbs. Trust me, it's driving me as crazy as it's probably driving some of you, but that is a minor detail. Suffice to say, it is still significantly improved over what it was before. We have made great strides. However, there is still admittedly one area down here that really needs some work, not just to clean it up for the sake of cleaning it up, but also so we can assess the damage, and that is this area right here. So this is the area where this section of the foundation is crumbling in, and we don't actually know how bad it is yet because there's just so much stuff on the ground and blocking the path. It's hard to tell if the foundation wall is in dire need or if it's just in manageable need. I'm not sure. So we've decided that that's what we're going to do today. Is we're going to put all of our time and energy into clearing out this section here. We've got the oil tank, we've got all the bricks on the ground, but we've also got our last remaining sort of segmented area of the basement. Now, if you'll remember, when we moved in here, the basement was split up into a ton of different little areas. We took down so many of these walls, and there's one left right here. And it's coming down today. So, with that said, let's go get Phil and get to work. If you look at it from here, this angle, it almost doesn't look like it's caving in.
It's mostly the brick. There's a little bit of an angle that's not on the other side. But it looks worse because the brick is all about to fall out.
Oh, the brick is definitely
all kablooey.
It looks like an igniter. Press the button, this is in the furnace, and fire.
What is it?
No idea. Piece of metal. More metal.
What?
Like an old Christmas tree stand.
That's funny. coming out of the basement just for a second because I wanted to give you a quick update on the tool wall that I worked on a few videos ago, because it is now installed in its proper spot and it looks fantastic. You'll remember that I 3D printed all of these parts with what is today's sponsor as well, Bamboo Labs, and their P2S printer. So I'm super happy with how it turned out. It fits perfectly in the space. Now, obviously this is all a work in progress, and amusingly, we're actually going to shift everything around very shortly here, but that is the beauty of this system. Like, I mounted it on a piece of very sturdy plywood so I can just take it off that wall and scoot it to pretty much any other wall. Everything that you see here as part of my tool wall, and also this really nice battery caddy that I'm just so chuffed about, they were all printed using models that I downloaded from Bamboo Labs Maker World. That's their online platform where they have like literally thousands and thousands of absolutely free to use and download models. So you can just find what you want to print, download it. Like, for example, this insert that I printed for my sewing tin, it fits perfectly inside. It holds all of my sewing notions. It's got tons and tons of room for extra bobbins, and I absolutely love the colors. This is really great if you're just getting into 3D printing and you're busy learning the aspect of the hobby that is how to use the printer, which filaments, which settings. You don't have to also learn how to use Fusion, how to model things in 3D. You can just take these models that other people have made and start using them. And that is really fantastic. But for me personally, where I think that 3D printing really shines and where it absolutely hands down justifies its use of plastic is in custom designing super specific parts that are oftentimes replacement parts. Maybe they're no longer manufactured, or they might just not be available to you as the random normal consumer, or maybe it's a part that actually just doesn't exist unless you make it yourself. This is a part that I have not been able to find anywhere online because it is super custom, because this goes with my nearly 100-year-old kitchen sink. This actually is a strainer to catch all the food particles. So this is gorgeous sink, came with the house. I absolutely adore it, but the problem is that I don't have a really great way to keep the food out of the piping. So with some time and some measurement, just printed this custom strainer. It fits perfectly like a glove. It is probably going to save me a lot of money down the line just like cleaning out the pipes, because there won't be any food that gets down in there. So another great case of 3D printing coming and saving the day, kind of. So the machine that is making all of this possible is the P2S by Bamboo Lab. It has been really a joy to work with. It is fully enclosed, which is great in this renovation setting where things are very dusty. This actually does close over here. I have it open to show you the colorful filaments, but it is fully enclosed. That has been absolutely fantastic to keep it clean. The AMS2 up here is absolutely fantastic for keeping the filament not only clean, but also really dry, which just really improves the quality of your 3D prints. Another feature I love, this giant touchscreen up here, very user-friendly, very large, easy to see. You can do a lot of stuff from the touchscreen. You can also do a lot of stuff from the app on your phone, which is really fun because this has really good quality LED lights. It's got a really nice camera in it. So often what we'll do is we'll start a print and then we'll go out, we'll run some errands, we'll walk the dog, we'll go to the hardware store, and we can monitor the print from the phone, which is really great. So you can see how it's going, check in on it. It also gives really fun time lapses, which you've seen. 3D printing did used to be a little bit the wild west. Things were painfully slow and tricky, and now it's just fast and clean and reliable. So I can 100% recommend the P2S by Bamboo Labs. If you're thinking about getting into 3D printing, it's very user-friendly. You're gonna get really reliable, high quality prints all the time with this thing. So if you are interested in that, I do have an affiliate link. It is in the description as usual, and 5 stars for Bamboo Labs and the P2S. Unless you're in Denmark, then it's gonna be 6 stars. The next step was sorting through all of the debris on the ground in front of the oil tank. There were bricks from the foundation's beauty veneer, some of which were still in very good shape and some of which were tiny bits only good for juggling.
There were rocks from the foundation wall where it had been breached from decades of improper water management. And of course, there was lots of dust, dirt, grime, and junk, all of which had to get sorted and cleaned up. And then eventually hauled out of the basement, because I swear to God, if there's one thing I'm doing in this house, it's so many stairs. Now, I know I've got some newer viewers here, so let me run you quickly through the Shannon Makes ethos here, especially as it pertains to renovations, but also, honestly, for my life in general. I am so sick of our throwaway culture, of planned obsolescence, of the concept of zero maintenance, a concept that may sound great on paper until you realize that it really just means use it till it breaks and then throw it away. So you'll often see me here on the channel carefully uninstalling materials in order to reuse them down the road, rather than hastily ripping them out and destroying them in the process. Now, this obviously slows the renovation down. I am well aware of that, but it is a conscious decision on my part to try and save and reuse materials that are both of value to me because of their historic nature, because they're higher quality materials oftentimes. It's just worth the time and effort to me personally, and of course it is a balancing act between making progress in the renovation, making sure that the preservation doesn't turn into hoarding, and where I draw my line might be different than where you draw your line, and that's fine. But today, in this moment, we're gonna take an extra 30 or so minutes to pull out all of the perfectly good bricks and set them aside before throwing everything else out. And if that resonates with you, I think you're in the right place.
So we managed to get most of the bricks, well, all the whole bricks anyway, stacked up over there. Now, I think the plan is going to be basically just to try and shovel all of this debris out, get it away from the wall. You can see already right there where it's been trapping some moisture in there. So we're just going to move it all away, get it out of here, eventually take it to the dump. Then we have to tackle that oil tank. And then we're going to have a better idea of this wall situation. We're going to need some more tubs.
Could go been the one in good shape upstairs. But where did all the buckets go? We have more buckets.
With all of the salvageable bricks removed and stacked, and all of the fallen foundation rocks also set off to the side, we could move on to the much quicker, albeit more labor-intensive process of shoveling all of the rest of the debris into containers and hauling it out of the basement. A task made much easier by the new set of stairs that Jean built for us when he was here last spring.
Hey. Mais hey, c'est vraiment pas grand. Ben Chris, la vibration l'a fait descendre.
So if everybody could set down their remotes or your knitting needles, stop petting your furry friends for a second and give a small micro round of applause to Jean for his magnificent stairs. They have already helped us haul 4 tons of metal out of here, and they're probably going to see at least that again in bricks, rubble, debris, and of course, even more metal.
So here it is in all its glory and rustiness. Any final words?
Looks pretty empty. It's really light. It doesn't slush around at all. So we're gonna turn it this way so I have access to cut it all around.
And how are you gonna cut it?
With the Sawzall.
Protect your eyes. Okay, so yes.
Turn. 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 Here we go. Pivot. Pivot.
I need a brick.
Or two. I have a. Yes. And then one, this is something. It's nice and dry.
It's just hard because it, yeah, there we go. We can kind of see. Yep. Nice. Okay. All right, let's cut it. Phil has been looking forward to this moment for like a year. He's been telling me about it. He's been showing videos of other people hacking up their oil tanks. So we're going to let him get his power tool. We're going to let him have fun because he's been looking forward to it for a while.
You can throw a match in there and it wouldn't light up. It's very safe.
I'm not worried about it being flammable. I'm not really worried about it at all, but I do want you to have eye protection though.
Can you get it for me?
I think it's safe to say that it is no longer in use anymore. Not a viable tank. Ist kaputt. Yatta!
Yatta!
Not gonna lie, it was a pretty cool shot.
That was pretty cool.
Let's take a look inside. That's one rusty Easter egg.
Hey, you want to make a hot tub or something?
Just in time for Taya! Okay, so that's going to be it for us today. Progress was made, which honestly is all I could really ask for down here. We're going to knock it off, call it quits for the day, and we'll be back on Monday to try to clear out all of the mess that we made. And get it up to the dump, take the metal in to get some money for it, all that fun stuff. So the next time that you are down here in this basement, it will be Monday. Alright, it's Monday, which means that the dump is open. So we are going to be emptying out the basement. We've got a lot of buckets of crap that's going to be going to the dump. We've got a bunch of wood that's going to be going in the backyard to be burned later. And we've got a corgi that is about to get a Kong to keep her occupied while we run all these errands. Canal, est-ce que t'aimerais ça avoir un Kong?
Allez, bisous.
Tu me donnes un bisou? Allez, bisou? Oui. Tu veux-tu un Kong? Let's go get a corgi, a Kong. Shake. L'autre patte? Non. L'autre patte? Boum. Allez. Ok. Shmoo. Wood. We're also going to take a trip to the metal recycling center because we have a lot of metal to recycle, obviously. We have the 2 big halves of the oil tank. We've also got a pile down there of smaller stuff that we kind of pulled out of this corner. We have some stuff on the other half of the basement that's just been accumulating. So if we're lucky, the money we get from the metal will cover the cost of everything we drop off at the dump. So let's see. I'm gonna put on my coat and we're gonna get to work. Although, of course, all the metal that we have over on this half is actually a pile of copper with brass fittings, which we'll get more money for it if we separate the brass from the copper, but also it means we have to put more work in. So TBD on if we actually do that or if we just dump it, recycle it as is, and accept a lower price for it. Guess you'll have to wait to find out. One load in. Time to go to the dump.
Hello, hello, construction. Thank you very much. I see a blue container.
We haven't even finished moving yet, and Phil's already got his eyes on what he's gonna scavenge from the dump. I approve. Call it Tupperware, it'll really infuriate everyone.
It's a Kodak Tupperware. They partnered with Kleenex.
Alright, let's go. We're gonna need some more tubs. Another perfectly good Tupperware! Ooh, nice.
It's full of mud, it's heavy.
Okay. Oh God, what does he find now? What a trash panda.
Floor covers.
You're such a trash panda? To be fair, we could use some floor covers.
The total bill? $15.75. Now, will we be able to sell our scrap metal for at least that much and cover our costs? That's a question that'll have to wait for next week.
Wow. The color temperature down here is driving me crazy too. Just know that. Wood.
You like to buy a hamburger?
I would like to buy a hamburger. I would like to buy a dagger.
Bye-bye, light.